The Honourable David Cunliffe.
Mr Speaker, it's a pleasure to take a call in the third reading of the Human Rights Amendment Bill and to reaffirm that although Labor earlier opposed the bill, it is now in a position to support it. I want to quickly touch on the matters which have changed, which allow us to take that position, and to reaffirm the principles which lie behind Labor's approach to the Human Rights Commission. In fact, let me start with that. The Commission is a very important independent watchdog for human rights across a range of fronts, including equal opportunities for women, a stand against racism, and the protection of civil rights across our society. It is one of a number of independent watchdog agencies or institutions which are core parts of our democracy. Labor initially opposed this bill because we were concerned that along with other what you might call shaving away of those independent watchdog agencies, be it the underfunding of the Ombudsman or other issues, that we were concerned the Human Rights Commission were gradually and repeatedly being weakened by resourcing, by the loss of the previous titles that were guaranteed for certain of the commissioners. And let's be frank, even though with the restoration of those titles, which is the principal change here, we're now in a position to support this bill, we will continue to be vigilant that human rights are being upheld and that the Commission, as one of a network of independent statutory agencies, continues to be able to play its vital role as one of the cornerstones of our democracy. Mr Speaker, we are in the third term of a government which some would say is getting increasingly arrogant and out of touch. We are also, well, the first sign of arrogance is laughing when people offer criticisms. Only a cough. The Minister of Health is coughing. Order. That's a bad sign.
Order.
Thank you. It's a shame that the Minister of Health is coughing, but I hope he gets over it and needs clinical advice, but that's been clear for years. Mr Speaker, the Human Rights Amendment Bill, getting back to the substance.
Yes, I am going to ask the member to resume his seat and ask both members now to lift the tone a bit. David Cunliffe.
Speaker. Order. Certainly happy to be guided by someone attired with such eminence, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, the specific commissioner roles that we referred to was contained, the change was contained under clause 6(1)(a), which removed the specific commissioner roles. The original Act had ensured that each of the commissioner roles were specific appointments, and that was important because we felt it was necessary for the commissioners to be able to stand on a particular statutory office when speaking things like in 1A, disability rights, 1AB, equal opportunities for employment, and C, race relations. But just prior to the committee stages, the Minister reversed her position and introduced an SOP that would essentially ensure the status quo and re-adds the statutory titles of Equal Employment Opportunities Commissioner and Race Relations Commissioner. And that ensures that those offices will continue with the full statutory weight, and that is important if we look back at the history of those offices. We're glad the government has backed down. We think it's the right thing to do. We're not sure why they had the contrary idea in the first place. We can only surmise that it's part of a trend to underplay or underfund independent watchdog agencies which have the role of leaning against the executive, and we have continuously warned the public of New Zealand that if that process, that trend continues, then our democratic institutions could be under threat. The number of commissioners was the second objection we raised, and the amendment bill allows that to be reversed. The existing section 81AD of the 93 Act had 3 full-time commissioners appointed as the Chief Commissioner, the Race Relations Commissioner and the EEO Commissioner, and it also allowed an additional 5 part-time commissioners to be appointed. At the committee stages, we reaffirmed our strong concern that the amendment bill had the potential to reduce that number, and we continued to vote against the bill at the committee stage on this issue. After the committee stage, we sought assurances from the Minister that the amendment bill would not result in a reduction of the existing commissioners, and the Minister has replied in writing giving that assurance. So we are pleased, sir, that those concerns have been mitigated. Consultation was our third key concern. Clause 6 inserts subsection 1b, and I quote, "A Commissioner must lead the work of the Commission in any other priority area that is designated by the Chief Commissioner, and the Chief Commissioner may designate an area of work as a priority area only in accordance with the strategic direction and the general nature of activities determined by the Commission under 7.1 and after consultation with the Minister and other Commissioners." Now, it is not appropriate, never has been, for an independent statutory agency to have its work plan and strategy directed only after consultation with a minister. The whole point is that they are there, if necessary, to lean against the actions of the executive of the day, whoever that might be. And we therefore were very concerned about the consultation requirement. We will continue to be vigilant on that issue. Mr. Speaker, may I summarise by saying that Labor attaches enormous importance to the work of this Commission. We do so because of the valuable substance of the role, of the importance of equal opportunities for women, equal opportunities for people of disability, equal opportunities across the races, so that New Zealand is a place where people of whatever background, creed or colour can all participate fully and make our country great, and in so doing can maximise their potential and continue to build on a country which has a reputation for an easygoing acceptance of all and a celebration of our diversity. That is part of what makes modern New Zealand, and that's a good thing. And the role of Race Relations Commissioner and Equal Opportunities Commissioner have been fundamental in underpinning that. Mr. Speaker, as we look forward, we are aware that we live in a world which is ever more complex and apparently hostile. We see conflict in the Middle East. We see tensions in East Asia. We see growing gaps between wealth and poverty worldwide, and we observe in Western democracies a growing rebellion is not too strong a word, against the prevailing orthodoxies of the last several decades. And we know that the treasure of democracy is something that is hard-won, has been hard-won, and must be vigilantly maintained. And so while to some this bill may seem like a very small, one might say anodyne bill, as Mr. Bishop said, the sort of bill that you pass into law last thing on a Thursday afternoon, but it is not a trivial bill. It goes to the independence of a commission, the strength of a commission that upholds and signifies some of the values that make our lovely country what it is, a place where everybody can be themselves, or should be able to be themselves, where every Kiwi kid can grow up and aspire to do anything or be anything that they want and are capable of. This is not a country where we think our children should grow up living in cars, as is too often the case. It is not a country where males and females should have different incomes or entitlements. It is not a country where people of different races and ethnicities have their earning potential or their career potential limited. It's not a place where we want to see qualified doctors driving taxis. It's not a place where we want to see some suburbs designated the wrong side of the tracks and others, where we have winner schools and loser schools. It's not a place, sir, where we want the child of a driver or a drover only to be able to aspire to the same roles as their parents. It is the Human Rights Commission, the Equal Opportunities Commission, the Race Relations Commission, which we must protect, and we welcome the amendments in this bill which reduce the threats to that office.
Dr. Palmer.